In a surprising twist of events, former aide to former governor, the late Rotimi Akeredolu of Ondo State, has come forward with startling revelations about the governor's sentiments towards his chosen successor. The revelations have sparked speculation and controversy, shedding light on the inner workings of Ondo State politics. A former aide to the late Governor Rotimi Akeredolu, stirred the controversy by disclosing that, contrary to what the current governor, Aiyedatiwa, is saying, that he was endorsed by the former governor, that the late Akeredolu was heartbroken over the selection of his successor, who is now the governor. And the aide suggested that he, Akeredolu, of blessed memory, had not anointed his chosen candidate. The revelation has raised questions about the dynamics within the ruling party in Ondo State and the governor's influence over the succession process. Well, let's without wasting time, go to our guest who joins us tonight right here in the studio, right here on Politics HQ, to look at the complexity and the issues in the polity of Ondo State. Our guest tonight is Steve Adaramoye. He's a legal practitioner. Mr. Adaramoye, thanks very kindly for your time tonight.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right. What are your thoughts on the ongoing disagreement between whether Akeredolu, of blessed memory, God rest his soul, endorsed Aiyedatiwa to be the next governor or not?
Actually, it's quite a very complex issue, like you have started. The dynamics of politics is a quest for power, and it's a quest for wrestling power. When you look at what is actually happening in Ondo State, it's quite intriguing, quite interesting, quite puzzling, and at the same time, it's something that is very difficult to unravel. When you look at the issue of Akeredolu, the death of the former governor, because of his sickness somehow, one way or the other, a lot of people were jostling for his position until his demise. And there are various groups in the state trying to wrestle power while he was even still alive. And that one makes it very complex. And the deputy governor himself, one way or the other, saying that Akeredolu has endorsed him. In fact, there was one video that went viral, wherein during the campaign, Akeredolu himself was even saying that Aiyedatiwa, that his time has come, that we continue to go down, and Aiyedatiwa will continue to go up. So it's as complex as that. And there is another person rather, trying just to say that he was I think Akintaye or thereabout, saying that Akeredolu anointed him. Akeredolu is not alive now to say whether he endorsed somebody or not. But what is critical and most important is that the position of Aiyedatiwa at now is very, very important. You know, he holds the ace. As far as Nigerian politics is concerned, a politics that like the dynamics of honesty, a politics that like the that lacks honesty, a politics that lacks truth, a politics that is essentially dominated by what you can get from that very place. By virtue of the fact that he's the governor on the throne, just like honey, I can assure you, they'll be flocking to him. Is the person to beat as of today. Really?
But we know the issues that transpired between Aiyedatiwa and Akeredolu. It happened. It was in the public layer. We covered it. From the move to impeach Aiyedatiwa to, a lot of things that happened.
Impeach to move him, how he went to court and all those things.
Wasn't it clear that there was a frosty relationship between Akeredolu and Aiyedatiwa?
And undoubtedly. You understand?
So how does that now?
Does that not go
against any talk of endorsement and blessings?
It's quite complex. The latest stage at the twilight of the Akeredolu's life on this part of the world, you will discover that, as you said, the relationship was frozen. Quite all right. For one reason or the other, the relationship was not that cordial. In fact, the issue of the sickness of Akeredolu brought about many factions in Ondo State politics. People were just using his position to run for power, and in the process, the politics of Ondo State, one way or the other, became such a very hydra-headed kind of monster, which was more or less a puzzle, very difficult actually to understand. You understand? So when you are saying whether, as towards the tail end of his life, it was very, very, very difficult because he was very inactive. You understand? He was in Ibadan. Why the government, governance, you understand, was going on in Akure, in Ondo State. So actually, to really say that, to really define the relationship between them, I think the people, the loyalists of late Akeredolu, one way or the other, they were jostling for the power. You understand? And one way or the other, don't forget, they wanted to impeach him. And calculatedly, he went to court, and court stopped them from furthering the impeachment, one way or the other, to the extent that Mr. President had to wade in. You understand that they should not impeach him, that himself should maintain certain kind of position, one way or the other. Now, when you look at it at the end of the day, will I say out of sheer faith or luck, he emerged, Akeredolu died, and he emerged the governor. So the political calculus in that very state is very, very difficult to define. You understand? But I know something, that he holds the ace. I know him. I've never met him. You understand? Because like what I told you, the dynamics of Nigerian politics is chop and chop, what you can get there. And the power of incumbency is there at any material. You see, certain people must have been flocking to him one way or the other. Is it when you are talking about elections, either at party level or at the general level, is it transparent? Can you, can you be sure that the best will emerge? Of course not. The calculation there is based on perfidy and on treachery and fraud. So when you look at those things, it is essentially very, 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 very difficult for other people. There are many people that are more important than him in that very state. But by virtue of the fact that he is the governor of the state, which the other opponents, they saw it coming, that once they can assume that very position, it might be very, very difficult for them to wrestle power from him.
Let's talk about the situation in the House of Assembly.
Yes.
Olamide Oladiji is the Speaker.
Yes.
He led some members of the House of Assembly to Aiyedatiwa's announcement that he was going to run for the election. Yes. And as we speak, 13 out of the 26 lawmakers in the State House of Assembly have passed a vote of no confidence on the Speaker. What's your thought on that situation? Did he do anything wrong as the leader of the legislature in the state? And do you think that his position right now is shaky? He might be removed.
Of course. Like what I'm seeing, what is happening in Ondo State is a reflection of what Nigerian politics is. At any material time, the person that holds the ace is the person that they are the apex of power, and that is the governor. Every calculation has to be resolved in his favor. Everything has to go around him. So anybody, if you look at the position of the House before, one way or the other, the calculation was to get Aiyedatiwa out of power. But immediately the man died. The former governor died, and Aiyedatiwa emerged the governor. Power was placed on his hand, and from that moment, one way or the other, either to rearrange even the power of the legislature, the power in the judiciary. You know, Nigeria is not a place where separations of power actually bear much influence. When you look at it, you know, whoever the executive has overwhelming influence and power on what goes on in the judiciary, on what goes on in the legislature. And that is what is playing out over there. And as I said earlier, when you are looking at the dynamics of Nigerian politics, it is not politics of principle. It is politics of what you want to take out of that very place. Because of that, at any material time, anybody that is occupying the position of the governor or that of the president, you know, is the person that really has that very power. Unless otherwise, dictated from above, it is very, very difficult. Like what actually you said, all of them initially, if you look at what the political calculation in the house there, they were against Aiyedatiwa, while Akeredolu was alive. Yeah. You understand? Yeah. Immediately, the game changed.
All right. We need to go. We need to go. Mr. Adaramoye, I'm sorry, because of time we have to pull. But it's an interesting situation that is developing in Ondo State, and I'm very sure that we'll have you back again as we get closer to the election.
Okay.
Until next time, we'll pair with someone. Thank you so very kindly for your time, sir.
I don't know it will be this brief.
Yeah, thank you very kindly.